34. We came to an agreement. According to royal archives, the legend of the saintess dates back 700 years. At a time when miasma disasters occurred chronically, a woman calling herself a messenger of God appeared and magnificently purified the miasma. She later became the first queen of the king of that era, and the people revered her as the saintess. Several decades after her death, when miasma struck again, a royal descendant of the saintess received a divine oracle declaring that a nun living on the frontier was the new saintess. Since then, at roughly 100-year intervals when miasma resurged, an oracle would descend upon someone of the previous saintess's bloodline, revealing the next saintess's whereabouts. All saintesses were said to possess pure hearts, grieving for the people suffering under miasma, devoting their lives to the public good. And now, the seventh saintess, Shurishi Yua, a high school girl from another world, stood trembling on the red carpet of the audience chamber, surrounded by the kingdom's power holders. I'll do my best to purify. But once purification is done, there's nothing else for me to do, right? Please send me back to my world. Among the murmuring assembly, only Saikara quietly covered his mouth. What are you saying, Yua? You are the one and only honored saintess. Even after purification, our kingdom will cherish you. Julius smiled sincerely. Yua, however, turned pale. Until recently, she had felt as though she were living in a dream. Lavish life, beautiful dresses, sweet words from a handsome prince, knights and maids serving her. But after witnessing the expedition, after hearing Saikara's words, she finally realized how precarious her footing was. There was no family here who loved her unconditionally. No friends she could confide in. Her values might not even translate. Even if purification ended safely, what then? What would she be made to do? How would she live? That uncertainty terrified her. I was summoned to purify, right? If that's done, then you don't need me anymore. That is not so. A saintess's very presence guides the nation toward prosperity. They showered her with gentle words, unaware those words only deepened her fear. Because none of them had ever once asked about her circumstances. Through the crowd, Yua searched desperately for Saikara, the only other person from her world. The tired, overworked middle-aged man. Konde-san. At her tearful plea, Saikara narrowed his eyes briefly, then smiled. As I stated earlier, the saintess's role will likely become unnecessary going forward. Yua's eyes shone. Julius frowned. But, Saikara spoke slowly. At present, there is no method for us to return to our original world. Dad, Mom, I want to see my brother. Send me home. Please. The girl collapsed, sobbing. Nobles stood stunned. Saikara calmly gestured for the next documents. Distribute the next materials. What? It is your fault she is distressed. He did not accept that blame. They seemed mistaken. Neither he nor Yua had answered any divine call. They had been taken, without consent. In his world, that was called kidnapping. As stated, there is currently no return method. However, the summoning itself did not once exist. It was developed through magical advancement. At that cue, Ist burst forward, eyes gleaming. Yes. Regarding summoning, we anchor onto the saintess's mana signature and connect dimensions, achieving near-perfect retrieval. But returning is unstable, coordinates distort, dimensional warping. Ist. Zoltarn dragged him back. Saikara continued. As per the documents, the Royal Magic Bureau will undertake research aimed at safely returning one individual, including the saintess, to their original world. Budget projections are on page 3. Accordingly, I propose expansion of the Royal Magic Bureau, including personnel for miasma monitoring. The audience chamber had become a boardroom. He pressed forward while the king and nobles were assembled. Efficient. Objections rose. Camille supported him. Aresh shut down arguments about the Third Order. Ultimately, you propose that we relinquish the Saintess legend in exchange for superior magical technology? The king finally spoke directly. Saikara knelt. Yes. Technological innovation fosters national development. And this can be funded within existing miasma budgets. There is no loss. I see. Konde-san. Until then, what should I do? Yua approached timidly. Remain in the palace until purification concludes. Afterward? What do you want, Shiraishi-san? I want to leave the palace. But I shouldn't just take money. I'd rather work somewhere, maybe where you work. Please spare me. Perhaps a place that uses your purification ability. A clinic. A church. Working alongside a pampered high school girl in Palace, accounting was unthinkable. Julius looked wounded. I wish to leave after purification. Thank you for your kindness. I'll return the jewelry and dresses. Or sell them for living expenses. Saikaira kept that thought to himself. Eventually, the nobles yielded before numbers, tears, and royal command. Purification was not yet complete. The monitoring plan advanced. Later, is this good enough, big brother? A boy proudly handed Saikaira a wooden abacus prototype. Perfect. Here's payment. So much. Includes development. He ordered 5 more. Norbert caught up soon after. You disappear the moment I look away. Saikaira handed him the abacus. Learn to use it. Of course it's for work. He was grooming successors now. He had to. Father's being promoted from viscount to count. Norbert grinned. Maybe I'll get promoted too. You as my superior? That would be interesting. Norbert turned pale. Yua now spent days at the church. After purification, she would reside there temporarily. Balance between palace and church, she would not be isolated. Saikaira returned to the dormitory, mind busy with logistics. Norbert chased him. Teach me how to use it. Later, he turned the corner. And stopped. His room. Empty. Completely cleared. What? Behind him, a familiar voice. Is that the first thing you look for? He spun. Aresh stood there, composed. Aresh-sama, what is this? Aresh smiled, satisfied. I bought a house. We're moving. Huh. Buying a house was fine. But why was he moving? You require my management. You nearly die when I look away. Living together resolves that. That's not. This was abrupt. He hadn't even been consulted. His belongings had already been moved. But this is more efficient, isn't it? Aresh grinned confidently. Saikaira glared. Don't think I'll just obey because you use that word. At least, before the next expedition, he no longer had to worry about where to renew the barrier. And thus, for now, this is the conclusion. Thank you for accompanying this overworked salaryman. After stories and side perspectives may follow.